Okay. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Capsule. We are doing a special episode today. In place of your regularly scheduled Capsule episode, we have a new, not a new episode, but well, it is a new episode. I'm making a mess of this intro already. It's a special episode. Thank you. It's a special episode because at the moment, currently, while you're watching this, I'm in Cyprus. Me in the future is in Cyprus on the beach, hanging out, relaxing, and maxing all cool, shooting some b-ball outside of the school. And we are actually, this is being recorded last Wednesday night, and we are in Birmingham. We are at the Dance Hub in Birmingham for a very special event called Kre8. So yeah, basically I have some lovely guests with me, and we are going to be discussing Kre8 Festival and potentially other things. We'll see how we go. And yeah, so let's introduce the guests. So on my left we have the wonderful Marceau, organizer, creator of Kre8. I'd be right in saying that?
Yes.
Yes. Anything else? Owner, CEO, dictator of the Kre8, founder, president, chairman, artistic director.
That wraps it up.
Cool. Yeah. So basically, it's your brainchild.
That's my baby. That's right. Yeah.
Nice.
Since
And
2016.
Yeah, we were talking about this on the way up here, like how long it's been going. 2016. So how many years is that? 70, 80, 90, 6. There we go. Yeah. Don't tell anyone I had to count. Sick. And yeah, we'll talk about more about that. But I just want to introduce these two lovely people also here. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves and say why you're here?
You go first.
No.
Come on, man.
All right. Hello.
Hello.
I am Chandni, and I'm
Yes,
here
you are.
because why am I here?
Why are you here?
Marceau.
You're the judge this
I am
year.
the judge this year. Woo!
Yeah. Chandni and Nini won the 2 versus 2 part of the event
They
last year.
smoked everyone. They said before the pod, they were like, it was so easy. We just smoked everyone, no problem. That's what they were just saying before. They were like, God, I've never had such an easy battle. I just smoked everyone, took everyone out. That's what you said, right?
Kind of.
Kind of.
I'm passing it on to you. Go on.
What up, peeps?
Yeah.
My name's Nini, drummer and dancer, representing Birmingham, representing Hold Your Ground.
Let's go.
And I'm here for the Kre8 battles tomorrow, because as last year I won it. I'm an invited guest.
Let's go.
Beating this one right.
Yeah. So you both won last year. You didn't enter together, you entered separately, but then throughout the twists and turns of the Kre8 battle ended up working together to win.
Yes, that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had not met before, I think.
Oh, you hadn't met?
No, we
Oh, amazing.
before that first round that we did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We met there and then on the day.
Sick.
Got it was, I think we really got to vibe off each other. It felt quite easy to dance with Chandni.
For sure.
And yeah, it took us to the final.
Yeah.
Sick. Did you have to do, after you won, did you battle each other for the last round or something?
We did.
What was that? Like, so you had already won.
Yes, the 2v2.
Oh, and then there was another.
There was a...
And-
We won.
And who won?
Of course.
Oh.
Of course.
So wait, so let's
to.
take a step back then. So Mr. Marceau, do you want to walk us through kind of what the idea behind Kre8 was, why you started it, but then also like the structure and the kind of concept of the actual battle itself? Because it's a battle in the format, but it's not the battle that, like, the way we would recognize a battle, I guess, in a normal, in air quotes, like popping or hip hop or breaking battle. It's like got twists and turns and special things and ways that I would say that the dancers can be maybe more creative than a normal battle. Because this is, in my opinion, I'm not speaking on behalf of Kre8 or any affiliated organizations, but that, like, in a normal battle, you know, there is one of the biggest flaws of the normal battle is that you are quite restricted, I would say, right? Like you have to kind of stay within your style, you have to stay within a time limit, you have to stay within a certain genre of music, which can be some of the fun and part of what we love about battles, but also in an artistic way can kind of restrict how much we can let go, express ourselves and that type of stuff. So yeah, give us the insight.
The insight. Okay, so I mean, first of all, the insight. First of all, Kre8 started as part of B-Side Hip Hop Festival.
Okay.
Which I kind of founded with a few other partners and co-directors. We came up with a program back in 2016 with the idea to create a hip hop festival, and therefore within the festival we had different battle elements, graffiti, the classic kind of setup, you know, with breaking battles, hip hop battles, old style or whatever. But I always wanted to push the creative part. And at the time, I was very inspired by what Open Your Mind was doing in Holland. Shout out to Drosha and his friends for creating this amazing festival. I was very inspired by this. And also in the same year, I was invited to enter the Collab in France, which is part of the Who Got the Flower Festival in Pontcharra, France.
So it's an event?
It's an event, so it's a whole weekend festival that's dedicated to hip hop, like primarily breaking battles and footwork battles, top rocks, all the categories. But also they have a lovely evening, which is more experimental, more theatrical, which they call the Collab. And they invite 8 musicians, they invite 8 dancers to face each other in a kind of solo format battle.
I think this is what I've seen. I thought that was Who Got the Flower. I thought that was the name of the...
Right, Who Got the Flower is the umbrella name for the whole thing. And then the collab is within Who Got the Flower as part of the program. So in a similar way, you know, B-Side was the umbrella. And I thought, okay, I want to come up with something. So that was already in the pipeline. Then I went to France and I won the event. There was an amazing event. I came back really even more inspired. I was like, okay, let's try and find a space, you know, something, not a space like a studio space, but something that's going to be similar but also different. So Kre8 was born like very small scale to begin with. We did it outdoors in front of the Hippodrome here actually, and we only had one musician. And it was like really like the backbone of the event, I call it, because which people entered on the day, you know, it was quite not as organized as it is now, not as big, obviously. But it went really well, and the response was great in the street. It was the first time we did it outdoors. And then the following year, we moved indoors in the theater because I wanted a more intimate kind of space, you know, dim lighting. And then we started to have a bit more budget, so we invited more musicians. We had the DJ setup. But the whole thing behind this for me was to also balance out the whole competition element, because I felt what was missing at the time in breaking competitions especially, and we had a massive breaking competition here and all around the scene, I feel. It was very much, you know, 3 male judges, 2 male hosts, two male DJs, and plus the competitors. And I know breaking, you know, that's kind of what it's like. But I was like, can't we do a bit better and just have a more harmonious, more balanced kind of event with more female presence? And then we opened it even more and kind of really opened the door to any style, anyone, any gender, and just try to really open it as a creative platform rather than just a straight up rigid competition.
And so the format that it is now, has that been the format every year?
So originally, I think it was a Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I've been to a few, but I can't remember what happened in every one.
So originally, what we did is we set it up as a gender identified female and male opposites to have opposition in the pairs. Okay, and then this is how we carried on for the first few years. And then last year, the event was commissioned by Birmingham International Dance Festival. So it was a slight different setup. we kind of the festival wanted to to do their best to pay every single artist involved in the competition.
Yes.
So we started to pay every invite, from the musician to the dancers, judges, everybody.
We
Obviously.
love that.
But obviously that's more resources. So
Yeah.
instead of having 16 invites, we could only have 8.
Yeah.
So I had to be clever, so to speak, and try and find a way to still have that kind of 2 versus 2 element
yeah.
happening.
Nice.
And this year, they loved it that much last year that Birmingham International Festival, Birmingham International Dance Festival decided to commission again. So we're back
Sick.
this year.
Lovely.
And we have more. Like we have also a film showcase this year.
So
We have you guys coming. We have an extra musician.
nice.
So yeah, I think it's going to be a really lovely setup.
Yeah. I think it's a really sick thing that like, so the whole top 8. So you've got how many invites and how many can qualify? Because you had a qualifier in, where did we say? Manchester?
Yeah.
Manchester. And then do you have an open qualifier tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay.
So last year, it was the first time we ran it at the way that it is. And so we did an open qualifier on the day when we had 1 space. We had 7 invites. And I was like, okay, we need to do better. So this year we have 2 invites for the open cypher tomorrow.
Okay, nice.
2 spots. And these 2 that will qualify will also earn the same as the other invites. Then we had, rotation exchange in Manchester. Yamuki was organizing an event, and so we collaborated, and he did the Kre8 qualifier. So Vasiliki is returning this year
as a qualified dancer.
As a qualified dancer.
So you got
Manchester.
3 qualified and 7 invites, and basically all. No, that maths did not work.
6 invites. Well, 5 invites.
5 invites.
1 qualified already.
Yeah, 2 open. I was like, 6,
we had
7,
one
9,
as well.
11. Yeah. So, and all of the 8 will basically get paid equally, just for being in the competition, and then they compete basically.
That's right.
Which I think is dope, and actually, in essence, kind of the way it should be. Like, so it's like you're kind of doing something that it's like, it kind of makes you realize like, wait, why am I not getting paid for all these other battles? Especially when it's like, I mean, we've kind of touched on this before in other episodes or with other people, but like how it's like the 8 dancers who make up the main thing, obviously, and the musicians and the judges and stuff, but really the core of the event is the 8 dancers who are doing the thing. Because when I'm coming to watch, I'm not watching an empty stage, I'm watching dancers, and often as battlers we pay money to enter, go on, do the thing, and even if you usually like you get all the way up to 2nd place or something and you lose, you don't get anything, but you've created so much of the, even by battling the finalists, even if it's super close, like you've put on a show for everyone, so you've worked even if you didn't win. And we kind of feel like, all right, if I didn't win, I'm useless, but if you weren't there in the event would have been significantly worse. So and that counts even, the whole top 8 or top 16 or whatever. It's what we go there to watch. So yeah, it's really nice to see that. Like everyone I mentioned that to is like, oh yeah. And you kind of sit here like a glass shattering in their head. They're like, wait, we don't get paid for battles. What's going on? Like, it's a really nice
This
touch.
is a concept that, I mean, it's been thought about before, but you obviously you can't always do this because it's more resources.
Yeah.
I gotta give it to Who Got the Flower again, because they're the one, I think, from what I know, there may be others, but they're the one that kind of pioneered this concept in the battle circuit, where they at the collab they've always paid all their invites as well. So.
To be honest, I'd be happy with the top 3. Like, I don't know about you, like for like normal kind of styles battles, but I'd be happy with 1st place and 2nd place getting something, even if it was less, and then do another, like the losers of the semi-finals battle for 3rd place. 1, 2, and 3 get a little something, even if it's like 100 quid, 50 quid, 25 quid or something. It's like, all right, a little recognition. I'd take that over.
For a little bit of the travel at least,
Yeah. You at least buy yourself a consolation dinner, All right, I came 3rd, but I'm going Nando's, But yeah, I think it's a really dope concept. So in terms of format of the actual battle tomorrow and previous years, is it something that you kind of keep as a surprise, or is there much you can tell us about literally like what's going to happen round by round? Or
so there's one part of the concept that's no longer a secret, really. Okay. I think I've done it now for the last few years, where I put all the names of the musicians in a hat, so no one knows what they're going to get at one part in the competition.
Okay.
They pick at random name musicians, or it could be a combination of the musician and the DJ, or
Right.
silence even, no music.
Yeah.
So there's I can't remember last year who got no music. There's a part also that keeps coming back is where I ask when they're in pairs, they are told to be the conductor. So they'll go to the musician and decide for their partner.
Like, do they do it as they go? Like, all right, do more shit. Like how, or is it before they tell them what type of thing?
So last year, I realized some of them being sneaky. They kind of went, "Oh, can you tell him to do this?" And I was like, "Oh, damn."
Oh, like you told your partner what to
I
say.
thought they would not. They would just go, But
But
yeah,
the
they try
person
and bend the
who's
rules.
the person who's conducting, are they like standing next to the musician saying, "Now do this, now do this"?
Well, but in some cases, that's what I wanted, and it has happened. But in some cases, I don't know, every time there's a different scenario coming from the dancers. They'll be like talking to each other. I was like, "Oh, I didn't preempt this." They're like planning. They always try to plan. So every year I try to hold back on telling them what's going to happen. So I can.
So do these type of concepts come straight from the top 8, or do you do like a normal versus battle in the first round and then move on to concept, or is that something you want to keep surprise?
Originally, we had a qualifier cipher, like the top 16. I can't remember. We would have a track. They would pick a number from 1 to 100.
Yep.
And that pair would get a random track. And
Okay.
that's how we decide on our top 16.
Mm-hmm.
And then thereafter, the concept would change every year. I even had someone that had a kazoo, rubber the kazoo in his pocket on the day, and he
You used it.
came out with the kazoo.
Sick. Why not? So the kind of overall concept is there's live music, dancers, and then there's like conceptual concepts. I don't know how to say that. Like there's concepts to it.
Yeah.
So I would say so far it's been very light. It's mainly been music based kind of concepts.
Yes, yeah. In order to like help the dancers to be free and do different stuff.
I never really wanted to go too deep and fall into this area where we're like, okay, now be a donkey on the beach. I never really wanted to go there because sorry, I mean, I love the experimental stuff, but then there's a point I feel it can become a bit silly.
Yeah.
Like it's like or a track out of the hat, and then you get the
Britney
Batman
Spears
theme
or
tune.
yeah.
And it's very funny for the audience. I get that there's entertainment value in it, but my vision was always about bringing the best out of the dancers, and not to push them to the point where they feel a bit, so out of their comfort zone
without feeling silly. Yeah. Because I feel like one of the things that again, like you guys tell me what you feel, but like for all styles battles or experimental battles or whatever, it's like I think a lot of people don't like the aspect where they feel like they have to be silly, if you know what I mean. Like where I guess it's like the music or whatever, it's like, okay, you have to just make the audience laugh or do, and that's what's going to make you win. Where it's like, okay, is there not something that's like, because then all the battles, like the breaking battles and the popping battles, are super serious, and then the all styles battles are just like a mess, and then the experimental battles sometimes can turn into like a who can act out the most, you know what I mean, like who can jump into the audience and kiss someone's head or something, like or whatever it might be. And then it's like, is there not something where we can just create freely like we would if we just had it open, like, because we could be ciphering with like a bunch of different style dancers but like put on weird music and it ends up being like a sick session, you know what I mean? So it's kind of nice to see that where there's something where you feel like you can kind of be taken seriously, I guess.
Yeah, and I think if you're funny or if you're like clowning or whatever, if it's in you and it's natural, I like the idea of giving you the space to do that if that's your character. Yes. But I won't necessarily just pressure
like force
you.
It. Yeah. So how do you guys, because am I correct in saying that you guys come from two pretty different backgrounds dance-wise? Like, Nini, like I know you more from like breaking and kind of being like b-boy extraordinaire. You know what I thought about the other day, by the way? I think you were like, we entered like about ages ago. Do you remember in like SDK UK, I think it was? When we did, like we didn't get through prelims, but we just like threw together like a crew last minute. And I was like, oh yeah, that was Nini who was in that. But this was like 2011 or
SDK,
10 or something.
was that in Bath?
No, it was in London.
London.
But I remember it's like a bunch of us were just like, should we just enter? Do you want to do it? Do you want to do it? And we just like, and then we entered prelims.
I forgot about this jam, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
man.
while ago. Anyway, but like, yeah, so you, I don't know, I just thought of that. But yeah, so you do more, and you come from maybe more of a contemporary kind of background, free movement background.
Yeah,
Would you, am I?
Yeah.
So how does this kind of translate for both of you in terms, because I guess for you, maybe the freedom aspect is more familiar, whereas the battle format is maybe less familiar, and maybe the battle format is more familiar for you and the concepts and the freedom side of it is less. I
don't know. Fun fact.
Tell me.
I don't know if I'm contemporary dancer because I come from like hip hop scene.
Do you? Okay, right.
Yeah, I only started like contemporary training when I was in my bachelor.
No way.
Yeah,
How long ago was that?
4 years ago.
Jesus,
Yeah.
you got pretty good.
Thanks.
Damn. Okay, so wait,
Yeah, I am familiar.
what were you doing before that?
Yeah, like hip hop,
Oh, okay.
popping a little bit. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I'm familiar.
Okay, cool. So that's why you smoke, everyone. Cool, I see.
I mean,
Okay, so then, yeah, how does it? So then, for you guys, like, are there things from the event that you really like? Are there things that were more of a challenge? Like, how do you find the experience?
I think for me, because the first time I did an event like that with musicians and it's not breaking, and I think for me the bonus was the fact that there was musicians, because I'm a musician myself.
Right.
So to be able to just move, it was just natural. So I could just wait for the musicians to play something. I know I'm not, I don't have anything set. I could just be as free as I can. It's just the beauty of it, really.
Right.
And I prefer, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I prefer to do more of those type of battles than I do with breaking. I mean,
Right.
I've been doing the breaking for so many years now, and I feel like I need to break out to do something else.
Yeah.
And Kre8 helped, because when you got more than one style inside of you, and you really want to use the other styles, Again, without musicians, I really don't think Kre8 would give it how can I say, give it what it has now.
Yeah, like they give it that special touch, having the live musicians. So do you find it's like you can kind of relate to what the musicians are thinking or doing?
Yeah.
Right, that's interesting. How does that kind of translate into how you would move or dance? Like, is there certain things that you look out for, or
Certain things that I hear.
okay?
Like for example, the cello.
Yeah.
Like I'm a fan of strings. Even though I'm a drummer,
Yeah.
I'm a fan of strings. And I don't know, my body just knows how to move automatically, and whatever she's playing, he or she is playing afterwards, then my brain is just go, dude, you know how to move now. So just move. I like it. I don't need to think,
Yeah.
You just go out there and you adapt straight away. And I think that's the challenge that I like.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to play. I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know what's going to happen in that situation. So I just got to adapt straight away. And that's how I felt last year with absolutely every single round. Didn't know what to do. I felt stuck every single time. But having a partner as well, I think that helped as well. But yeah, I'm just waiting for tomorrow now. Let's see
Sick.
what happens.
It's really interesting to hear this, because I remember when I invited Nini with the new format of the battle, and I had him on my mind before. And obviously, we've been dancing together in the same crew for years. And I was like, Nini would be great for this. But I called him and he was like, are you sure? Are you sure you want me to do this? He was doubting so much.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you'd be perfect for it. Well, he was hesitating. It was really funny, but I saw it all the way. And then he came and win. And I was like, and then after the battle, after the event, I just went, I told you.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I'm hungry for more of it now.
Yeah, now you've had a little taste.
Any battles that have musicians, I'm there all the time.
Sick.
Now.
That's nice. Sorry, and how about for you?
I think what you said about blah blah blah.
Oh.
So I wouldn't call myself I'm like a hip hop dancer.
You wouldn't call
I
yourself?
would not.
Okay.
But I also wouldn't say I'm a contemporary dancer.
Oh.
So then like having battles like Kre8, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So because it's experimental, nobody really knows what it is. You can just do whatever.
Yeah.
And because I feel like I've practiced enough of the things that I'm working with, it's experimental-ish, I guess. So like battles like this are really perfect for me because I can just do whatever I do without, because other battles, like I wouldn't enter a hip hop battle.
Yes, right.
Because I do other things and I wouldn't feel like I would be able to showcase what I can do. So yeah, I think that's like the highlight for me.
And things that like maybe you found more challenging from this? Like, do you feel pretty comfortable with the battle format?
I think so. Yeah, I think normally in a different experimental battle concept, there's always those things where it's like, oh, be a donkey in water. That's always the thing that I'm dreading with experimental battle. So I was waiting for those moments in Kre8 and they didn't happen. I was like, okay, I can actually dance. Great.
Yeah.
Wait until tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, on purpose, it's gonna be like,
Donkeys in water.
be a donkey.
Not coming tomorrow then.
Be a donkey in water. Brilliant. So yeah, you felt good with that. And is there stuff that, like, because obviously Nini with the music, the live music thing, that's something that he really like latches onto, I guess, with like this sort of thing of like, all right, that's my, in a way, like my superpower in this battle is like, all right, I'm gonna just go off on the music. Is there something that you're like, or how would you think like, okay, this is the moment where I flourish? Is it like partner work, or is it where you get a certain, like when you get to dance on silence, you're like, oh, I can do this better than other people? Like, is there something that you identify with this that is
I
your
don't know, man.
forte?
I don't know.
No.
Well, we always just see what comes out.
Fair enough.
Hope for the best.
And is it something with the judges? Like, do you just do a showcase, or is there like maybe something where they dance with the dancers, or I don't remember how it.
The judges?
Yeah. Or is that secret?
We've had years with judges showcase. We had a year with we had John Z, we had Julia.
I think that was last year, right?
That was I believe either 2019 or 2018.
Oh, okay.
We had this amazing showcase. Who else was there? I can't remember.
The Patrick Center one.
Yeah, the Patrick Studio. And John G started to MC, and it just everything went off. It became a trio. The judges showcase was really cool.
MC?
Yeah. So this year we have 2 judges.
Ah, okay.
And there's gonna be 3. But it's a bit of a wild card. So.
It's gonna be a dodgy one tomorrow.
Interesting.
So yeah.
Sick. That sounds cool. So, speaking about the partner work stuff, how did you guys find like what dancing with a partner? Because speaking for myself, like the first time I ever had to dance with someone, it was like the most alien thing in the world, especially like doing hip hop. And then it was like bro, doing contact work, even like in college and stuff. I was like, what do you mean I have to touch someone? Like, well, and then what? Like, and then what happens? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And now I did a lot of it. I mean, we did some with you. I've done like some workshops and stuff. I've like done loads in my own rehearsals and stuff. Like, I love it now. And it's like, bro, if I had mental space or energy, I would work on like a whole contact duet and stuff. But that was like a whole journey for me, and like even figuring that out. But I guess I don't know if you had done it before, but you guys were kind of thrust into like, and go dance together. But like, how was that?
It was good, you know. Well, for me, I think that's where the contemporary bit comes in.
Okay, because you do a lot of that.
Yes, during the education BA thing, there was a lot of partner work, so I think I'm quite used to it. So I was quite comfortable. But that was me.
Yeah, me on the other hand,
Okay.
I'm really not used to partner work, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not that guy, man.
Right.
Because I'm always in my head, I'm thinking, okay, what is this person gonna get me to do? Because I hate doing flips, and that's the first thing that pops into my head.
Don't make me
Get
flip.
me to do a flip or jump over into some random thing.
Right.
I'm a straight no.
Yeah.
But
I think I asked you. I was like, "What do you not want to do?" And
That's funny.
Did we do that?
we didn't do it.
Okay.
But to be honest, but last year, because again he was on the spot, we just had to work with each other straight away. And I think because of the contrast of styles, I think it really worked, and I actually got to enjoy it. And especially when it was challenging more so because you asked me to do something that I really don't do.
What
Like,
did she ask you? This sounds so dodgy.
yeah. In one of the rounds, she asked me to speak about my mum. And so
Oh yeah, I remember that.
she just
That was
had
actually
to
sick.
move to that.
Yeah.
And my brain stopped straight away. It's like, what am I going to say, you know?
But you did great, bro. Like really great.
Yeah, it was really good. It was like spoken word art.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Oh, spoken word.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was lovely, man.
though,
It was really lovely.
But again, I think it's things like that like it helps you build and improve like really straight away. And again, you just have zero choice of the matter, especially in that battle sense.
Yeah.
You just have to adapt straight away. And
Yeah.
I think really last year I did think about, okay, I need to go back to doing some partner work.
Yeah, yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I actually do need it.
Yeah, I think it's a good skill to have, even if you never really use it. It's just nice to learn. But how did you feel with it? Like, you said you felt fine doing it.
Yeah, it was good. I felt like because we're not the same, we don't come from the same dance backgrounds. We weren't competing. Like we were so different, so it was just very complimentary of each other in that way. Yeah.
So, did you, when you guys worked together? Obviously, you hadn't really done anything partner work, and you were quite comfortable. Did you think in your head like, or did you have techniques that you were like, okay, I know how to help someone get in the hang of this super quick, or like I need to take control and make us look like we can work together, so let me do this? Like, because you must have pulled that talk about your mum thing out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So it's like, did you think of like, all right, here's different things that I can do to like make this work, kind of thing?
Yeah, because I remember when we got the silence thing from the hat. You were like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
Oh, you didn't want to dance on the silence. Okay.
I'm learning lots of things today.
So I was like, okay, how can we make that work together? So that's when I thought of the spoken thing.
Oh, that's how you did it when it was on the silence.
silence.
You said,
Because I wanted to do it together. I don't want to do it alone. I don't want to dance alone. So I was like, let's do this. And you were like, I don't want to do it.
Because I had one choice, you know, pick one.
Yeah.
And
But it worked. It worked. Yeah.
Sick. And did you do much of like physically dancing together? No.
I don't think so. I think, you never know when you meet someone for the first time how it's going to go. So I think I maybe sussed it out a bit. I was like, is it going to work?
Yeah, to be honest, I think we felt like at the first few seconds we were kind of apart.
Yeah.
But then I think we really did adapt and get used to each other,
Yeah.
like really almost straight away. And then we just worked with each other from there. So it was just nearly all contact. And we could just kind of, I think we read each other really well as
sure.
well. But yeah, and again, see what happens.
See what happens this time.
I mean, on
Yeah,
that
man.
topic, like we have a contact master over here. He's like, but so what would you do in a situation if you were kind of dancing with someone who, let's say, like Nini or someone else who, or like a popper or someone who's a great dancer, a great freestyler, a great soloist, but is not used to dancing with someone, and you are used to dancing with someone? Is there stuff that you can do to try and bring that out of someone like live as it's happening, without obviously going and rehearsing and planning anything?
It's really interesting. I mean, it's a really, really good question because you could be paired with another dancer and not find your chemistry.
Yeah.
And they're amazing. You're both dancers. You should, in theory, understand each other's language in some ways. Yeah. But even if you're listening or you're trying to find each other's energy, and you see in rehearsals or in creation, sometimes it's still not working.
Yeah.
And I've been in situations where I was improvising and I just grabbed someone from the audience, and it was just like water. And some people have the capacity to let go and really listen and go with you. So I think the first thing to do to answer your question would be, if we never danced together, I would probably try and read and listen as much as possible of this person. Because if I try to impose too much, or if I sense that they are not wanting to, or if I sense they want to lead or they want me to lead, that's got to be established quite early in the conversation. Because if you don't know, then you're clashing constantly. If you're both trying to lead, or if you're both listening to the point there's no conversation, then it's not going to work. So you got to listen first, suss out who takes the lead, and then eventually you find the flow. I think there's a conversation that starts to happen, like question and answers. That's a really basic tool. You lead a bit, see whether they're taking the lead in return, and then they give it back, and there's an exchange that happens. I would say look for the exchange, look for that conversation to take place by start to listen and see whether they're waiting for you or you're waiting for them, and then establish the conversation slowly.
Anything to add?
Agree.
You were nodding enthusiastically.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't work. It's also okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like one thing that's like maybe I don't know, like if people are listening that have never tried it or don't kind of understand all the aspects of it, I think something that's important to like explain is what you were saying about listening and reading the other person, because it's like when you're dancing with someone, it is kind of like a conversation where it's like with the touch or whatever, however you're connecting, one person is always, most of the time, one person is always leading you and telling you what to do. And it's the same with like partner dances, like Latin dances, I would imagine, like you have the lead and then you have the follower, right? So, and I'm kind of saying this to you guys and you all know, but it's more for you guys at home. But like, so you have like someone in any given moment, one person is kind of leading the touch and the movement and suggesting where to go, and the other person in an ideal situation is listening. And I think what I discovered, the more people I've tried this with, is that sometimes if you don't get that, it's like you're both doing this and you're both it's like we're going this way, no, we're going this way, and then it's just a mess. Or sometimes people that haven't done this a lot panic and don't leave space for something to happen.
That's right.
And whenever and I probably learned parts of this from you, but like whenever we tried this in rehearsal, especially with people that are new, it was like, okay, the first thing is like, don't do anything. And then wait to see, like hold hands or put your hand on their head or wherever, however you establish the contact, but stop, but don't do anything and wait. And one of you will then, okay, we're going to go this way, or okay, we're going to go this way, or, you know, and then you establish, okay, I'm the leader. And then the other person's job is to, like you were saying, like listen in air quotes, which means like feel the touch and feel the intention through the touch. Like, okay, they're pushing me this way. That means we're going left. Oh, they want, like you, maybe if I start to put my hand on your lower back, it's like, oh, are we going for a lift? Okay, what's happening here? Where are they putting their weight? You know, and the more you can listen and understand that, then you're going to really have this harmonious movement, I think. But that's like a really fucking hard thing to get from my experience.
It's these what we're talking about are tools, and you need to practice with the tools.
Yeah.
For some people, it will feel a bit more natural, and for some, you know, and you could easily compare this to relationship. You know,
True.
If you give the space, if you make the space for it, and really make the effort for the conversation to take place. Yeah. Because I think what happens is that it's a bit like this. Oh, I've got those skills. Oh, this is how I move. Yes. And ego takes its place. And therefore, then there's a clash. And that clash often is easily resolved if you do exactly what you said. When you said, do nothing to begin with. But I understand that in a competition context, it's like you only have 2 minutes to do your thing. So... Give that space, but quickly. Yeah. But you know what I love is like actually, and this is I never expected to even enjoy contact work, let alone like really be into it. That's not to say I'm any good at it, but I really enjoyed doing it. And I think one thing I found is that it's kind of, without sounding too artsy-fartsy, like it's kind of like meditation-esque almost. Because it's like, if you think about like, again, I don't know if you are going to cuss me out on this, but like, with the like mindfulness meditation, like I guess the idea is to like be present in the moment and like not think ahead, not think in the past, just be like, I'm here right now, my body feels like this, I'm thinking this thing, but it's like presentness, I guess, right? And I think one thing I found through doing the contact stuff is like the more, especially at the beginning, it's like what you tend to do, especially as like a popper or someone that does freestyle, is I didn't even realize I was doing this, but you tend to have like the next 4 counts at least kind of planned. Like you're starting this and you're like, right, I'm going into a waving section, or after this waving section, I'll probably go to the floor or whatever. And you kind of have a little plan. And I kind of found myself doing that when I'm dancing with someone and I'm like, oh, we're about to spin. But then the person would go over there and I'm like, no, we were about to spin. But obviously I'm not saying it, so they don't know. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Well, and then I think that like I've understood what they want. I'm like, okay, well, you want to go to the floor. And then I start going to the floor and they're like, where are you going? And I'm like, oh, fuck. And so
I found the way I made it work, like when it did work for me, I made it work by just being present and not thinking ahead, not thinking, oh, they're probably going to do this, or not trying to guess. Just like literally, what are they doing right now? Or they're moving. Okay, I'm just going to accept this for what it is. Oh, now they're doing this. Okay, I'm going to go with that. And like not trying to plan or thing. And it kind of got me in a really nice space of like, oh, all I'm thinking about is what this person in front of me is doing in this present moment and what I'm doing. And that's it. Like, there's no thing else. And I was like, oh, this kind of feels nice, Yeah,
that's such a great observation and comment. I would say what you see should inform you. It's your inspiration to respond to that. I think what the reason for clashes often is people try to stay in their lane or their way of doing things without feeding from what the other person is giving them.
Yeah. And it's also like a really good thing to just stop and let the other person move sometimes. Like, I think people panic, and I find this with performance and stuff in general. I think contemporary, it's maybe more part of I don't know what the word is, but like part of the understanding of dance, that stillness is important.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just a given. Like, you see it in performance when you watch contemporary performance, they use it all the time. When you learn, I think it's like it was taught when I did like some of my first contemporary classes, like why are we standing still for 8 counts? And it's just like, it's just part of the thing. But in hip hop, we don't really do that. We don't use stillness that much. And I think whether you're by yourself or with a partner, like just stopping is like super impactful and can help you gather where you are. And it actually connects to an audience really well, I think, as well.
Also, what you were saying about listening to the other reminds me of when it comes to contact work, most of the time, I feel like the human in the dancer comes out more because you have to listen. And you have to connect in a way that's not just about the movement, but do you know what I mean?
Kind of, but can you expand?
Yeah, because like you always have a plan as a mover. Like, oh, I'm gonna do this. But when you're with someone else and you want to connect with someone, with us, I had to switch off my brain of like the dancer brain and just let it happen in the way that we would have a conversation in real life. Like, oh, I'm gonna say this now you can say this. So like the human in me comes out more when I'm with someone else.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Completely. Do
you find like you establish a different type of connection dancing with someone like that as opposed to like just a normal 2-on-2 or something? Yeah. It's like,
sure.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, if I remember right from last year, again, that thing about the stillness, I know I just had to watch Chandini for a good few seconds. Okay, this is how she's moving. This is what she's doing. It was a bit weird. I had to kind of predict like how she was going to do a certain movement or something like that. But man, I've lost track now.
About like establishing a connection.
Yeah, and it helped to get that connection like really a lot more. So if I went to grab her hand, okay, don't move, dude. What is she going to do after?
Right. Yeah. And you're kind of waiting like, oh, I did something. Let's see what effect this has and where she takes it. Or if she doesn't, maybe the signal is keep going or whatever it might be. Sorry, go.
I was just going to say, in a way, it was a little bit hard, but...
Yeah.
Again, it was cool.
I think that's why I think it's so beautiful when you see two people, especially with like partner work in general, or just dancing with someone is amazing. But when you see especially contact work done like improv'd really seamlessly, it's so good because it's like, that's like, I don't know, it's like one of the hardest things for me because you're not, there's one thing of being an amazing dancer and controlling your body, but like controlling your body to do amazing things while connecting with someone else is like
different.
Yeah, it's so nice to watch for me. But I think what made me think of with what you said about the human coming out is like I feel like the tendencies that you have in contact work, again, I'm speaking as if I've done loads. I haven't, but just in my own rehearsals for fun with my friends, but like the tendencies that you have in contact work tend to be the same tendencies that you have in real life. So like I found like the people that were, I'm not cussing my friends, but I am, but like the people that were like not taking cues and just are the people that don't listen as well in real life in conversation, or the people that were just listening and were waiting for the other persons were the people that were maybe more timid and were like, didn't take the lead or take the initiative in real life. And I was like, I see, like, okay, our relationship in real life is coming out in our relationship through the dance, you know? And it made me think about my, like, okay, so like I'm dancing with you and it's like, all right, well, maybe I'm being really careful to like listen and understand, but it's like, all right, am I doing that like when we talk or in real life? And it's, I don't know.
I think that also translates to our connection that we made during Kre8. Because I feel like if we would have met at another event and we did a 2v2 normally, I would have been like, okay, bye, done. We did that. And
Thanks for the money.
And I'll see you another time. But I feel like because we had that experience together and it worked out so well and we had a connection in the rounds, I felt more connected with you like afterwards. Like I see you now and I'm like, oh, hey, man,
so
good to see you. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And the funny thing about I don't know if you remember that how we got to be a partner as well, because we wasn't even meant to be partners in the beginning, because you was with Max at that time and I was with Shelly, and a couple of the guys in the background saying no.
Oh, they can't be together.
Yeah, because they.
Oh, with Max.
I was,
Oh, and they made you switch.
Max, but then
we switched and boom, it's like okay,
sick.
damn, I'm not gonna lie, it was a good switch. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, no offense to Shelly.
Yeah. But the connection worked out.
Yeah.
That's so nice. Yeah. Do you find stuff like that when you've done like a lot? Because you've probably done way more, especially in more of a choreographic context. So are these kind of things like come across with the people that you work with, or like the connections that you make in the same way?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, I think this is very much the same when you enter the space and you go to an audition and then you're being given tasks, creative tasks. You meet people that you're not connecting with, and you'll meet people like, wow, who are you? It's like, it feels like I've known you all my life type thing. But it's like Chandani says, it's the human in you. If you allow that to happen, then you discover new things about yourself as well, because you're combining these two being the dancer and the human. What we see in regular competitions a lot of the time is that you've just spent years working on building this other version of yourself, this character, this battle person. You've got all your techniques, your blow-ups, your whatever, and you go in with this. And I guess sometimes, I'm not just talking generally, that sometimes can limit your ability to connect with others, or on other platforms or in a different creative task. Yeah.
That's true. And I think, I think it's a good, almost like a good life skill to have, is to at least to try, like as a dancer, but like to just try contact or partner work or just dancing with other people at some point, like I think that with every aspect, like I think it's good to try everything, like choreographing a piece if you've never done it, or try and
change the music.
Dancing to different music, like try and break in if you're a pop, or like just try all the different stuff, like it stretches your mind. And I think for me, like working with a partner is really part of that. But it's super nice to see, like, I think, talking about Kre8 specifically, like for me, I can't remember how many I've been to, but I've been to a few. The one at the place, that was Kre8 as well.
That's 2018. And this one we did it. It was a qualifier for the collab who got the flower.
Yes, I remember that.
So we had some of the organizers coming over, like Noe, judging the event. Yeah. It was a really nice event at the place, actually.
Yeah, that was lovely. What was my point? My point was that I've been to a few, and yes, what I think is really nice is that the event like allows different people to like shine in that way, if that makes sense. Like even what you were saying about you having never done a lot of this stuff, but like I wouldn't have known that if I didn't know you. You know what I mean? From seeing you, especially last year, like I would have never thought that you, like even, you talking about your mum while Chandani does, it's like, but you did it so confidently and it worked so well that it's like, I would have never known that. And maybe you would have never done that in any other context, but it's like the battle, it really allows, like it allows these spaces for people who maybe wouldn't try some things like this. Because it's like, you would maybe do that if you were like, okay, you're going to do like a hip hop theater piece or or in a scratch night or something, and you guys choreograph together. But if you're never in those spaces and you're more of a battler, when are you ever going to get to create stuff like this? Then like other than this event. So it's like, I think it really kind of brings out some unique stuff from the dancers, I think.
Yeah.
But is there, I don't know, do you have any like specific things that stand out over the years of like moments that you're like, oh yeah, that was a magical little moment or something that happened?
Quite a few times there's people that went all the way to the finals or even won. I didn't see it coming. I was like, wow, this pair actually like they met on the day and this magic happened. Yes, that's a great example. And other people that they were like my heroes, still are. But they came through, I invited them, they came through. I was like, okay, they're going to rip everything to pieces. And then they lost first round. I was like, and they were with somebody and I could tell their chemistry didn't work. It was one of those things. And I was like, so interesting. But I think the little wins that I had throughout the years were moments where people from the other competition would turn up unexpectedly. So maybe they weren't gonna come, or they were curious, so they came and checked the event, and they were like, "Oh, yes, I really like this." But there's always been a little bit of a hold back generally from the breakers that were at the breaking competition, but they would not come to Kre8 because it's this weird experimental style or whatever. But I just think it's not like that, you know. There is events where it's more weird, I suppose. But the little wins where people would come and either enter or they never done it before, or they would come the following year and then enter because they saw something and connected. Yeah. And these are, I think these were little wins for me because this is what I wanted. Yeah. This is to create a space to just open it up a bit. And it can be a breaker, it can be a popper. It doesn't matter the style. Yeah. And I think now it's more open. We've been doing this for 6 years. I think we kind of started this platform of this scale here, more or less, and in the UK. And it's really nice to see the growth, and it's more and more events happening, and a lot of people seem to be a lot more relaxed about this kind of events. So it's great.
Yeah, and I think what's nice as well is like, you know, what you're saying about like maybe b-boys or like people that do styles being less comfortable with this sort of stuff. It's like the idea, I would imagine, is like not that you're not that you're forced to do something weird or do something different. It's just you're supposed to relax and do what you want to do, and whether that's just a fire breaking round or you do some like completely different stuff, or you end up doing spoken word or you know what I mean, like it's kind of just you're supposed to feel okay to do whatever it is. And I think that is one thing that I don't think I've competed in Kre8, but
not yet.
I've been, not yet. But it's definitely the sort of thing I would do. It's like really the type of thing I would like. But I think just from being around the environment, it's like that Kre8 doesn't make me feel like that. But a lot of other kind of what we're talking like experimental battles and these type of battles, like you almost feel like you're forced to do a certain thing, and then it's like this isn't freedom. This is just a new restriction. You know what I mean? And it's like I find those events where I've been to and I even watching and stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to do this because I feel like you're forcing me to be like this. You know,
it's not like concept based. I mean, it's concept based, but in a different way. Not like the usual experimental battles, I'd say. Yeah. Especially because you say you highlight the musicians and the dancers. You want them to shine and not just look silly.
Yeah. It's a bit of a worry sometimes for me because I'm like, okay, maybe it's getting a bit boring now. Maybe they want more of that donkey water stuff, you know. Sometimes I'm like, should I come up with a different concept?
Please don't. But I feel like, I don't know, like from being in it, do you guys feel as if, like, I don't know if you've watched your rounds back or even just memory of being in it, do you feel like you dance like you in a way? Like do you recognize what you see of like, oh, that's me just doing whatever I want? Or do you feel like you've done something completely different, for better or for worse?
A bit of both.
Yeah? Oh, that's a nice answer.
Honestly, yeah, a bit of both. I mean, with the years of the breaking inside of me and the fact, I mean, I started out as a popper, you know, and doing hip hop before. Those things I still practice, you know. I don't train them every day, but I still give them a little practice just to brush them off. Yeah. Just in case for things just like
brush the dust off.
Yeah. And again, like I wasn't just breaking. I'm hearing the cello. Oh man, I don't have to do my cross steps and all of that. I can really take my time and use my body to move, and I think it was the real beauty. I could really let myself go. I felt like me after how many years of dancing. I felt like that was me really battling.
Sick.
Because of all the other stuff that I've tried to adapt to my style as well. And I kind of got to use a lot of it in that, in Kre8 last year. My brain stopped.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, bro, it's a real challenge for us dancers, and we actually need this. It's not a joke. I mean, I thought to myself, if I didn't do this last year, would you actually do it, dude? Because it is something that is actually needed. If you're a hip-hop dancer, a street dancer, try it out. Try out Kre8, because you're going to come out a lot more. You're not going to be restricted.
Yeah.
And not think, oh, yeah, I just have to pop. I just have to do hip-hop.
Yeah.
It's boring. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
It does get boring.
Yeah, especially if you're not like I think working within those restrictions and within that box is fun if you are indeed taking something and putting it into the box. Like that's the fun part, is like, how do I fit a wealth of life and experience into this box that I call popping or whatever? If that's the only thing that your dance is, that's where it's not fun. I find if you train so that you're just this, and if someone takes away the box and it's still a box, you know what I mean? You need to take away the box and everything goes vroom, like that.
Needs to be open.
Yeah, and I think it helps sometimes to take away the box and be like, dance in other contexts, to be like, oh, okay, who am I outside of this restriction, whatever that is, whether you're a ballet dancer or a battler or a whatever, you know. Would you agree?
I would agree.
I thought you had something to say. No. Okay.
Fair
Cool.
question.
I was asking about whether you find that how you danced last year, or if you've done, I don't know if you've done it before that, was like really like how you see yourself as dancing, or if you felt yourself doing different things, or like for better or for worse.
I mean, the style that I bring, or like the kind of movement I bring, is what I do. But because of the environment of a battle, I'm not able to do that often, because it doesn't exist like that much.
Like there's not a platform to do that.
No.
Besides maybe choreographing.
Yeah, but it's not a battle then.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Got ya.
because the way that I dance during events like Kre8 is how I dance by myself, but then doing it in a battle format where you like want to beat someone is different.
So so what goes through your head then on that? Like, how do you do this, be so free, but then compete with it? What? Such an evil laugh.
Always a competition.
That's your secret. You're always in competition. So, but what are you thinking in your head? Are you thinking, and also this maybe feeds into how you would judge. So what are you thinking about? Okay, I want to showcase certain things. I want my quality of movement to be higher than the other person. I want to show better range. Is there something that you would think in that way of like, how are you one up? Because I guess battling is one upping the other person. Yeah. So whether that's, oh, you did floor work, I'm going to do cleaner floor work. I'm going to do more risky floor work, but nail it. I'm going to, you know what I mean? I'm going to do what you did, but more creative. Like, how do you take that competitive element into such a wide spectrum of...
It depends. It depends on the other person, I think.
Okay.
I think it's about the listening again. I'll see what the other one does. And then it just depends, like if they're really offbeat or something, or just not listening to the music at all. Because most of the times, not most of the time, sometimes in experimental battles, a lot of contemporary dancers enter. And then they just do contemporary dance in a weird way.
Yes, agreed. And
then a lot of the times they don't listen to the music, just offbeat. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to play with musicality.
Easy.
Well,
yeah.
Do you know, like I'm trying to do the opposite of what they're, or not the opposite, or better. So musicality, or just a creative way of using a certain style, or the build up of the round. Sometimes they just go full ham, and you're like, okay, but where are you going? Then I'll make sure for myself that I'm like, okay, slowly building up, and I'm making something happen, and then slow building down. Yeah, it depends.
So you're more, the way you would think as a battler is more to highlight their flaws in your round?
Or
Would you
what
say?
or what I'm feeling to showcase, depending on music or just feeling.
So if you just think, right, like I don't really not it's gonna sound bad, but like I don't need to like highlight your flaws. I'm just gonna the thing I'm gonna do is gonna be better than what
Yeah.
you did.
Sometimes
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm feeling this music, and I'm like, okay, gonna work on musicality.
Okay, and how are you? Can you give us an insight into how what you're going to judge, or actually more so as well, like what you would want from the judges on both sides, or if you were judging, how would you judge such a free thing? Or like what would go through your head when picking a winner?
All the things that I just named.
Yeah, so you're looking at more the battle, like
Yes.
It has to be. You're watching the musician. Well, if there's music in that round, but I guess it's all the elements that we already know. How do you connect with because the musician is part of it's just like the dancers. They're not just there in the background. We're trying to get them involved as much as we can. But yeah, it's that musicality part, the strength, the skills that may be coming through, but also the performing aspect. If you're not embracing the space or communicating something, these are going to be important factors that are missing to in your performance.
So like the kind of intention behind the round and the connection with the musicians.
Yeah.
Interesting. Any other bits?
Same. Just like maybe if they take you on a journey, because it's not so style specific.
Right.
It's like, okay, what you're bringing then, like as in what are you showing? Are you just doing movement for the sake of movement, or are you doing something?
So I'm trying to sum this up, would you say that maybe you're looking for like the most complete round,
I guess so.
whether that, or like the most complete performance, whether that's like the music, the space, the structure, the performance, like
It depends.
The most honest as well.
the most honest? Okay, how do you mean?
What I mean by this is that sometimes you'll see someone that's very skillful with their movement, and there'll be somebody that's equally skillful, but they may just take it that step further into their transcending journey or whatever. They just get into a zone or a space that you're like they're moving, and you're feeling them, you're with them in that journey. So if the dancer has this ability to take you on the journey with them, it seems you connected to the mom story. That was a really strong moment.
Yeah.
I think we all did at that time. So it's almost like you almost cannot, you have to give it to them. So you feel it, I guess, as a judge. That's what, if people get touched or sense the emotions going through the dancer, I suppose that's another point taken for the performance level.
Yeah, fair. This is like my biggest flaw as a battler. It's like if anyone wants to beat me in Kre8, it's that. Because like I think for me, like I mean I'm getting way better at it in my old age, but like is my thing that I would always, it's just like going through the motions of like doing the stuff because it looks good and it feels cool, but like not, like you said, like being honest or like doing what I want to do, even if that's going to be risky or messy or I don't know how it's going to look or whatever. It's something it's really hard to learn, especially years of like performing and battling and trying to look good on stage, to trust your quality of movement enough to go, I'm going to go for what I feel and trust my body that that's going to look good.
Yeah.
Or that people are going to connect with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I guess it really depends, because if someone's really feeling it but it looks rubbish, then if someone does sick moves and really goes for those sick moves, then they're still gonna take it.
Yeah, it's like that's the thing. It's like it's quite a like I find this is really well done by like quite mature performers or like people that have been doing it a long time, because it is that sense of like, all right, because this is what I think is like people often talk about like taking risks or doing something different or whatever, and they're scared that they're going to look bad. And it's like, if you've been dancing for a long enough time, your muscle memory is strong enough that like you could kind of do anything and it might look like a little bit worse, but your baseline of like, you're not going to look horrendous because you're so used to performing and making and styling stuff out. And you could fall flat on your face, but it's like,
you should be able to take a risk, man.
Yeah,
You should
for
know
sure.
your own body.
yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And I think it's also like with the honesty thing, it's like, I don't know if this is if you're going to condone this, but I feel like it can be faked, right?
Yes.
In the same, and not faked in a bad way, but in the same way that like an actor would make you cry.
Yeah.
It's like, I know that you're not actually falling in love and giving a heartfelt speech at the airport, like, but I'm still crying. Like, I'm taking back, you fool. You know, it's like, but you sold it because it's like this, like you look like you're going through something, and I guess it's like almost like a physical form of like empathy. Like, I feel like you're feeling something, even if I know you're faking it. But it's like, I don't care, because it's like you're putting on the right performance that's giving me that feeling in a way. So it's like, the honesty is like, you know, the most, obviously like method acting or whatever, is like, it's the most straightforward way to do it. Like, okay, I need to cry, think about something that makes you cry. Or find a way to look like you're really crying, and then, you know, it's going to pull that. And I guess it's the same with dance. It's like, even if it's not a risk, make us feel like it's a risk. You know what I mean? And then you're going to kind of...
You got to be, if you're going to put on a performance acting, if you're not believing in what it is you're trying to believe or want people to believe, then people are going to feel it. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be a real life story, but if you're in it and you suddenly believe that the chair is blue, then the chair is blue for you, then people might start to believe the chair is blue. It's
I mean,
an example, but
you could have not meant anything you said about your mum, you know, and I wouldn't have known any different or felt any different. It's just like, cool, that's the performance in that moment. And I didn't even question it. I'm not coming up to you afterwards being like, was that true? Like, what's the relationship like with your mum? Like, I don't know, but, you know, it's, like you said, it's like, I felt like you believed it. But yeah. Last couple of questions, I guess. How do you go, I guess maybe it's a question more for you guys. Like, how do you feel like the scene up here has reacted to Kre8? Do you find like a lot of support from Birmingham scene, or I don't know, when you brought it to the how many times have you done it in London? Just the place?
Just once. Yeah.
Okay. And how do you find the reaction? Like, is it a different reaction in London? Do you feel like London dancers are maybe more open to it? Did people travel up to Birmingham? I mean, I'm here, but like...
I mean, from when we started, it grew every year, and what's been really nice to have a new audience come in, just gaining those audiences that may have had a preconceived idea, especially. But generally, the feedback is always amazing. But it's always a little struggle to sell it, because it has this unusual aspect, and it's not a straight up breaking hip hop popping battle or whatever. So we have a different crowd. But what I've noticed last year is that, so for the first time in 5 years last year, we went back outside. So we part of the outdoor platform. Yeah. And I think it was, I guess, was one of the best in terms of the audience. And it was cold that night, if you remember.
Yeah, it was very cold.
People sat there in the cold until the end.
I stayed.
And I was blown away. Like, we were all on the stage shivering, and people sat there and watched until the end. The response was really amazing. So I think, I mean, I like both. I like the theater environment, the intimacy, the lighting, more subtle. And outdoor is great because you're seeing. It feels more like a party vibe, you know, like more fun. Yeah. And as the night comes along, I guess we're getting into that.
You feel the like passing of time. You know, something that it makes me think of with Kre8, because it's like something that I thought about a lot with the podcast, because people, one thing that I got a lot at the beginning was when I started doing the podcast, and I watch a lot of podcasts, so I'm modeling this whole platform off stuff that I see, right, and that I want it to be like. So I know, and it's none of it's dance stuff, it's all other podcasts and entertainment stuff that I watch, and I'm like, right, I know what I want this to feel like, right? When I first started, I did maybe like 3-4 episodes, and people were like, oh, it's too long. It's too long, it's too long, it's too long, it's too long. Which is fair. It is it is long. Some of the episodes are like 2.5 hours, right? Fine. But one thing I learned from the people that I watch and have been researching and stuff is like, they talk about kind of like finding your audience, or like I don't want just anyone to listen to this. I want people that are podcast audiences to listen to this. So the people that watch and listen to every episode of like the Capsule and all the interviews are people that already listen to podcasts, and they're podcast people. And this is like fitting that niche, right? And I find the people that like this, and I'm not trying to convert people that don't like this, because I'm like, well, this isn't for you. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, why doesn't FIFA try and advertise to baseball fans? It's like, no, if you're a football fan, you watch football, and baseball fans won't watch it, and that's fine. And I think this is kind of, it makes me think of Kre8, where it's like, you know, maybe the there's some people that won't give this a chance because they're like, oh no, I'm a real hardcore b-boy and stuff. It's like, yeah, that's not your audience. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, you'll slowly but surely, the more you do it, you'll find like people that come and like, oh, what's this? Like, maybe even you were like that before, but now that you try it once, you're like, oh, maybe I am a Kre8 person, you know?
That's the thing. I mean, before I was like, I just didn't think to myself I could do a battle like that. You know, I didn't think to myself, I don't agree with it or anything like that. It was just something different. I just didn't think to myself, will I be able to adapt to this kind of thing? And going back to what you're saying about here, not gonna lie, I feel this was a b-boy city. It's how I always knew this city at first. It was a strictly b-boy city, and now you got the poppers and the house dancers, but they're only strictly in those styles. I don't feel like there's a lot of openness in the dance brain in this city, but. Saying that, last year, I mean, there was a couple.
Yes.
Funny enough, there was a
youngsters.
couple here, and it was quite the shock to see. And last year, there was quite a few youngsters, and there was a lot more street dancers as well. So I felt
especially in the open qualifier, you had quite a few battle dancers that came through for that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And I thought, man, this could, it's reaching out to an audience who really would not look at this at all and think to themselves they will go on that stage and do this. But last year really switched that brain. I don't know what you
and
thought,
AJ came along. Titan and
did
AJ,
they?
they entered the qualifier.
And Gary was here,
Gary qualified, right?
Yeah.
He's
sick, that kid. I mean, all of those guys are sick, but are they from up here?
Ty is, Ben, AJ, Wolverhampton, but he's always here. Gary, the same, he's London, but he's always here.
Yeah.
Man.
Sick.
That's all that's as Brummies.
And I think it's also good because it's like the reverse as well. It's like maybe battle dancers that didn't give it a try or didn't think about it will have their minds open. But also what I found is like coming to watch, you see people that you would have never seen in a normal battle. Like, is his name Jamal? The kid that does like glides and almost like turfing type.
Rock up style, he calls it.
Okay. Apologies.
Jamal from is it Brock up, I think he calls it, or
his name is Jamal, right?
Jamal,
yeah. He does like a lot on his toes and
Yes.
Like I never saw that kid before, and I saw him
juking.
at that. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, like juking. Like what? I'm probably he's gonna be like, that's not what I do. But. Like I had never seen him before. I never knew who he was, but at the bar I was like, "This kid is sick!" Like mad. Like looks like a seasoned performer. And I started following him on Instagram, and like he does a lot of like really cool performance stuff and performance art.
Galleries,
I love it, man. It's sick. And it's like when am I? Because he's not gonna fit really in a popping battle or a hip hop battle, maybe all styles battle, but like Kre8 is a perfect platform for that. And it's like, now it's like I'm probably there's countless other people who have seen loads of other people, so you kind of get to see people who maybe you haven't seen or see people that dance in a way that you haven't seen them dance. But so we're all praises for Kre8. Imagine if we were just like horrible event. I hate this thing. So anyway, Marcel, how are you?
Right.
So I guess any last words unless we wrap up a little bit? Anyone going B-Boy Champs?
I am.
Are you going? I think I'm going to go. No, not interested. Oh, you're going to be home. Yeah, I think I'm going to go. I need to book tickets though if they're not sold out. Have you got tickets already?
Yeah, there was still some yesterday. I'm working with the Breaking League.
Wait, is that at the same event?
Yeah, for the youth.
Okay.
On the Saturday, and then the adults, I believe, on the Sunday, but different venue.
Do you know much about the Breaking League?
Some bits.
I don't know anything. What is the deal? How much can you tell me?
What about this weekend or
just the concept of it?
So if I'm completely honest, the concept. Oh my goodness, you put me on the spot.
Sorry.
I mean, the Breaking League. They've been running a few years now.
Yeah.
They've been doing a lot of youth breaking competitions set up as a league.
Sick.
So with different locations, and ranking up just like you would with a regular league. They have events called the Grand Slam where they are once a year. They have a big finale, and they also have adult competitions. solo b-boy comps
Sick.
as well. It's just to sum up a bit.
Yeah.
And this year, so Breaking Link is run by Paco and Andre, Trinity Warriors, MDK, Break District, and naming all the things that they do or where they're from. But this year, for the first time, we're going to collaborate. They are basically commissioning Kre8 to be part of the league in October. So there's
sick.
going to be a second Kre8 event.
How does
this
that
year.
work? So the winners will be part of their league?
So one of the surprise for tomorrow, I can say now, is that
Yeah, because this will have happened
the
3 days
winner
ago.
tomorrow will be invited to the October event.
Sick.
And so Kre8 is not a league yet, so it's not going to count as a league. But in the future, I'm very much looking at a way to tour it. So if we tour like 5 venues, for example, then each winners could go
To the next
one.
Yeah,
That's
sick.
the plan. But yeah, Breaking League, there's going to be this weekend for youth and adults, and then in October, another event in Derby, and it's going to be really
Amazing.
nice. Kre8, I think it's going to be like an evening event,
Sick.
as a like more chill sort of opening
Nice.
of the weekend, and then they're going to have all the other Breaking League battles at the weekend.
Oh, sick. That sounds great. Keep me updated. I'll come.
Sure.
Yeah, I would have loved for this, because obviously this will be coming out probably Monday. I would have loved for this to be a whole review of UK champs, but I'm going to be on the beach. So yeah, let's just pretend it did. UK champs went so good this weekend, and there was that one guy that won, and then that one other person that won, and then that battle, the finals was so good, and then there was also that semi-finals that was pretty good, and then that other person lost. So that's
Do you not remember that one bit?
yeah, that one bit with
That was sick.
when they did the UK champs was so good. Yeah, and then when there's a lot of cool stuff that happened. So there's your review of UK champs. The capsule, everybody.
Woo!
So I'm not going to be able to do that. But there's also a few. What else was happening this weekend? Wasn't there quite a few things? Just so there's UK champs. Oh no, well this is going to have already happened. So we're saying we hope it went well to UK champs. There was also Epic Jam. Chadler's Wells. So let's try again. Sadler's Wells chapter 25+1. That's it. You said Impact and so it's all different people performing. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. If you can't hear, she's listing companies that I've already thought. And Boy Blue, Zoo Nation, myself, Impact, some other people. So it's a multi-performance platform. There we go. So yeah, these are all the things that happened last weekend. And I must say those performances were super good. Like Boy Blue's performance was amazing. And then there was that other bit. Yeah.
With that guy.
Yeah, with the guy. Yeah. That was really good. And yeah, so I hope everything that happened this weekend went well. Sorry, we're reviewing in the future, but we're just time traveling here on the capsule. Yeah. So I think that's it. I'm trying to think if there's any. Well, speaking of events and Sophia behind the camera, we do have the events calendar. We are keeping it updated as much as we can. Kre8's on there. UK Champs is on there. Epic Jam is on there. Chapter 25+1, chapter 26 is on there. Everything's on there. We're keeping it updated. So please check it and use it if you want to go see what events are on there. We'll add the Breaking League stuff that Marcel was talking about, if it's not on there already. Oh, let's go, Sophia. Shout out to Sophia, all.so.visuals. And if you want to submit any events, please write us, email us, DM us, send us a pigeon, whatever. Send us a paper airplane, and we will add your event to the thang. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Please subscribe on YouTube if you do watch. Please go and check out Kre8 on social media.
Kre8.
Yeah, it's not here, is it?
Lab.
Is that it on everything?
Yes.
Instagram, Facebook.
Kre8.lab. Kre8
Cool.
Lab.
Yep, go and check out Kre8 everywhere. And if you can come to the next event, I would definitely recommend checking it out. I think you're doing a great job, man. And I'm I'm super happy to see this going well for you. You've always been super lovely to me, so
Oh, thank
happy
you.
to see like success for you. You guys are okay, I guess. No, I'm joking. Happy to have you guys here, and thanks for breaking it down for us and talking about it. And I'm super excited to see you both dance tomorrow. Are you going to be dancing at all tomorrow? You going to throw down a little showcase, maybe?
People keep bringing this
Come
up.
on,
We have
dude.
Yami as a Rowdy, as a host, as a co-host, and people keep bringing this question about you.
Are you hosting? No.
I'm hosting.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm hosting. We're both hosting together.
Still throw down though.
We have some amazing.
No excuses.
We got some great guests actually. We got the Mark Spencer from France. We've got Baby from Berlin.
Oh, he's gonna be here.
He's,
Sick.
he's one of the guests. We've got Laura Dejau from London as well. We got these guys of Siliki. Yeah, really looking forward to this. So I don't know, maybe if we're inspired tomorrow. I mean, we always put up a bit of a show, I guess. Like, we get a bit silly behind the mic. So let's see what happens.
Lovely stuff. All right. Well, thank you everyone for
thank you
being
BIDF for Birmingham International
shout out
Dance
to
Festival.
BIDF, shout out to Kre8, shout out to who else? Dance Exchange,
Yes.
Birmingham
The Fabric.
Dance Hub. Who
Dance
else can
Hub,
we shout
The
out?
Fabric.
Sophia, shout out to Emily.
Yes, shout out to Jamal and
Jamal,
Emily, my most biggest supporters on this event, because without them, I don't know what I would do. It's just like this year, it's just gone insane.
Sick.
Yeah, so.
And thanks for everyone that tunes into the capsule every single week. And go check out at thecapsuleldn if you're here through the Kre8 link and you don't know anything about me or the platform. We have the Instagram, we have the YouTube, we have a whole bunch of interviews. There's way more coming. What else do we have? We have all sorts of crap. But yeah, check out we're here every week, pretty much without fail. Unless something drastic happens, we are here every week kind of breaking down what has happened in the scene, general topics. You can send in questions, you can write hateful comments if you want, because they're always funny. And give us a follow, subscribe on the YouTube and all that jazz. And
There's no food on the table today.
there's no food on the table, so Simply Sublime, stop complaining. Thanks everyone, and see you next week.
Thank you, dude.
And that's a wrap.